The Hidden Trail of Bukit Nanas by Noodletail.com. The rain beat down on the tin roof of Sekolah Kabangsan Seri Tropica, a relentless rhythm like 1,000 impatient fingers. Inside room 8B, Mr. Raju tapped his clipboard with a decisive thud. "Your biodiversity projects are due in 2 weeks, he announced, his voice cutting through the classroom murmur. "I want you to find something unique, something real, not just pictures you've scraped off the internet." Across the room, Amir Hassan slouched in his seat, arms folded defensively. He'd already planned his report on pitcher plant sit was easy, straightforward, and a guarantee to why work harder when you can work smarter. But then his eyes landed on Liyana Ismail. She was scribbling furiously in her notebook, her brow creased in deep concentration. He remembered bragging to his friends about acing this project without even trying, and the look of annoyance on her face had been priceless. That smug grin of his had been stuck in her head all week. "Amir," Mr. Raju's voice boomed, snapping him back to the present. "You'll be working with Liyana." A collective gasp swept through the class. Amir let out a low groan. Beside him, he heard a sharp crackly. His pencil had snapped clean in two. They hadn't spoken a civil word to each other since the Science Olympiad last term. That was when Amir had, in his words, accidentally knocked over Liyana's magnificent volcano model just seconds before the judging began. She'd called him a show-off. He'd retorted by calling her a perfectionist know-it-all. The Cold War had been raging ever since. Forced into this unwelcome truce, they met after school under the fragrant frangipani tree. They stood in a standoff, arms crossed, perfect mirror images of defiance. "I'll do the research," Liyana stated, her voice as cool as ice. "You can carry the supplies." "Funny, I was going to say the same thing to you," Amir shot back. "But fine, just try to keep up." Their project, however, was about to take an unexpected turn. A few days later, Liyana was talking to her grandmother, a respected traditional healer from Penang. Her grandmother mentioned a rare, almost forgotten herb called akar sempit, the narrow root. She spoke of how it was once used to treat fevers and reduce inflammation. "It's a shy plant," her grandmother had said, her eyes looking into a distant memory. "It only grows in the oldest, most untouched parts of the forest, places like the heart of Bukit Nanas." Bukit Nanas. The name hung in the air. The oldest permanent forest reserve in Malaysia, a vibrant green lung right in the concrete tan-glass heart of Kuala Lumpur. Most visitors stuck to the paved paths and the famous canopy walkway. But a rare herb like akar sempit wouldn't be found in plain sight. "You've got to be joking," Amir said flatly when Liyana presented her idea, pointing at the hand-drawn map her grandmother had given her. "That place is crawling with leeches. And it's the middle of monsoon season." "Then we'll wear boots and long socks," Liyana replied, without missing a beat. Already packing a small rucksack with antiseptic wipes, a trowel, and a field guide. She looked him square in the eye. "Unless, of course, you're scared, that was all it took." Amir's pride, always his Achilles heel, flared up. "I'm in," he declared. The following Saturday dawned gray and heavy. Rain had fallen through the night, leaving the air thick with the scent of wet earth and sweet frangipani blossoms. They met at the entrance of KL Forest Eco Park, just off Jalan Raja Chulan. The modern skyscrapers loomed over the iron gates, their glass facades reflecting the brooding, overcast sky. Stepping inside was like entering another world. The roar of the city melted away, replaced by the chattering of long-tailed macaques and the melodic call of a distant hill mina. The paved trail soon gave way to a path of red laterite soil, slick and treacherous with moisture. "This way," Liyana commanded, consulting her grandmother's faded map. A square of paper marked with strange symbols that only she seemed to understand. Amir rolled his eyes but followed her deeper into the green twilight. Within minutes, the trail became a faint suggestion. Massive tree roots snaked across their path like sleeping serpents. Giant ferns brushed against their arms, leaving trails of cold dew on their skin. "Watch your step," Liyana warned as they carefully navigated a small stream, hopping across moss-covered stones. Just as she said it, Amir's foot slipped. He went down hard, his knee landing in the soft, wet mud. "Need a hand?" she asked, extending hers. He hesitated for a split second, his pride warring with his predicament. Finally, he took it. Her grip was firm, surprisingly strong. They pressed onward deeper into the forest. The canopy grew so dense overhead that it blotted out the sky, casting the world in a dim, emerald light. The air grew cooler, heavier, and then they arrived. The leeches. Ugh. Liyana yelped, flicking one off her ankle with a shudder. Amir froze, his eyes wide with horror. "Don't panic," she said, though her voice trembled slightly. "The salt. We brought salt, right?" Amir fumbled in his pack, his hands shaking as he pulled out a tiny Ziploc bag. They frantically sprinkled the crystals on their socks and boots, their hearts pounding in a frantic duet. The real test came moments later. They were scrambling up a steep, muddy incline when Liyana's feet slid out from under her. She started sliding backward, straight toward a wicked tangle of thorny rattan vines. Without thinking, Amir lunged, his hand shooting out to grab her wrist. He caught her, just in time. For a long, breathless moment, they just hung there mud-streaked, panting, staring at each other. The forest was silent around them. "Thanks," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Yeah, well, don't mention it," he mumbled, helping her back onto her feet. In that moment, something shifted. The tension that had defined their relationship for so long began to dissolve. The silence that fell between them wasn't hostile anymore. It was thoughtful. They found it near a hidden spring, in a small clearing where filtered sunlight dappled the forest floor. There it was, its leaves shaped like tiny, delicate hands, intricately veined with silver. It grew in a quiet patch, nestled among the gnarled roots of a wild orchid. "This is it," Liyana breathed, kneeling down carefully. Car sempit. Amir watched as she worked, gently digging around the plant to preserve the precious roots. "Your grandma's going to be so proud," he said softly. She looked up at him and smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile this time. "Maybe we both will be." On the way back, as they retraced their muddy steps, they talked. For the first time, they really talked. Amir confessed that he'd sabotaged her volcano model all those months ago because he was jealous. She had won every single science fair since they were in primary 3, and he just wanted to win for once. Liyana, in turn, admitted that she often mocked his ideas because she thought he was just a joker who didn't take anything seriously. "But you do," she said, glancing at him with a new understanding. "You just hide it behind all those jokes. And you're not just a know-it-all," he replied, a small smile playing on his lips. "You actually care. A lot." By the time they emerged from the forest, the rain had stopped. A brilliant sun broke through the clouds, its rays catching the distant Petronas towers and turning them to gold. Their project won first place, of course. The judges were captivated by their dedication and the story of their discovery. But standing on that stage, they knew they had found something far rarer than any herb in the forest: trust. Weeks later, they returned to Bukit Nanas. This time, there was no project, no grade on the line. They came with a box of native seedlings, ready to plant them along the trail they had forged. As they worked side by side, digging into the rich earth, a monitor lizard slipped silently into the underbrush. The ancient forest hummed its timeless song all around them. Amir handed Liyana a sapling, its leaves fresh and green. "Think we'll find another hidden trail?" he asked. She grinned, wiping a smudge of dirt from her cheek. "Only if you promise not to drop my volcano next time." He laughed, a free and easy sound that echoed through the trees. "Deal." And there, beneath the watchful gaze of the rainforest giants, two rivals became something far more valuable friends. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the heart of the forest and the heart of friendship. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more adventures. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to check out noodletail.com for more stories.